There we go. What's going on, guys? So today I just want to talk really briefly about this idea of competition that you have in your life, generally, right? And the fact that the world is abundant. So I think it's important for you to remember both of these things. And there's tons of different examples you could think about, right? Tons. Like recently, several times actually, for example, I was in an interview process for sales closing, right? For a guy's coaching course, right? He was going to mentor guys over Zoom and do a bunch of things in his particular field. And so he was saying that he wanted me, like when I started as the sales guy, to do like pretend client calls with his competitors, right? And I get why. I totally understand why. So basically, he wanted me to like submit an application for some of his competitors and just go through their sales call, like see what kind of questions they were asking for me, how they were, working through some of my limiting beliefs or objections, like things like that. And while I do see the point to it, like it's a good idea, at the same time, like I think if you have such a good service, like a value, product or value that you provide to someone, like with coaching, right? Like if you provide such good value and such great results, then maybe you don't even need to do that, right? That's what I kept thinking, because you wouldn't be so worried about your competition, and you wouldn't allow it to create a sense of lack or anxiety or even a little bit of scarcity in your mind, like, oh, what's this guy doing that I'm not? And I'm not saying that some of that stuff isn't helpful, right? I mean, people who are, I'm not really a sports guy, to be honest, but people who are really good at sports, I mean, they study like what other people are doing that's helping them get an edge in that, whatever that sport is, especially if it's like a competitive sport. You want to break the record, you want to be faster than this other guy, blah blah blah, right? Okay, I get that. That's also a game too, and it's a game, meaning it's for fun, meaning you're also competing because you enjoy it regardless of what the outcome is there, right? Which will actually probably create a bit more fun and abundance while you do it. So you might have a better chance of winning anyways. So I'm saying all this to say, because I've heard different examples of this, like in business, right? We've got to do market research and analyze our competitors and blah, blah, blah. Or I've heard people say, for example, and I you know what? Like, there is truth to this as well, right? Like, for example, this is annoying to hear, but there's another guy, assuming that you're a guy that's watching this, there is another guy who finds your girlfriend or your dream girl attractive. I can promise you that, right? And there's another guy who fits that description who is also confident enough to at least, let's say, like, you're at work and she's at the gym or something, and he sees her, right? And he's interested to find out if she's single and if she's cool. If he has that level of confidence, he might figure it out, right? He might just walk up, strike up an interaction, and then at that point, it's up to the girl, right, to lead the interaction in the correct direction there. And I know that scares some people, right, because they think, well, what if the girl likes him more than the guy she's dating already, right? Well, that just means, unfortunately, that she wasn't very loyal, so maybe not the highest quality. And I mean, at the same time, there's a bit of brutal reality there. Like everyone goes for their best option for long term, right? Potentially to have kids with, right? Guys and girls do this, or men and women do this, right? So you can't get mad at anybody for that. This is just like biology. This is the way we think. Like, man, they're really attractive. Are they also really cool, right? Are they really smart? This and that. And so you look for the best option for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing mean or evil about that. And all I'm saying is, in that example of the other guy approaching the girl, maybe she wasn't the right fit for you. Maybe she wasn't the most quality if she went with the other guy. And then also maybe the other guy did have more going for him, right? Maybe he was doing better financially. Maybe he had better character. That's a hard pill. That's a hard pill to swallow. Like maybe his values, morals, his overall personality and character were just more developed, a bit higher quality too. Like that's also a possibility. Maybe she's not a bad person, he's not a bad person. Maybe that's just the case for them, right? Maybe he's in better shape. And again, like looks fade, these other things fade, but maybe like she saw something in him, particularly around his personality, that gave him the edge there. Which just means, right, that number one, there's like two aspects of this, right? So number one, you should always, always, always be leveling up, right? And leveling up consists of it's very simple, right? Like guys will get caught up in like, oh, focus on yourself, king, and they'll only focus on one thing, and then they'll like close themselves in a room for 6 months, and then they get really good at like whatever skill, like sales, or they get really good results in a business that they started, or they just were in the gym for 6 months and now they're shredded. And typically when they do that, they haven't really been socializing, like going out and hanging out with good, high quality friends, or going out on dates, trying to meet someone high quality for their future, right? And so you're leveling up, because they're called social skills, right? You're leveling up each one of these, business, your fitness, your dating, your relationships, like all these different areas, the main important ones, right? So that you can be the best version of yourself. You love yourself the most, and you're the best version, or the best option in the future too, right? For your future relationship, potential mother of your children, right? So in that case, like, again, like that girl wouldn't even consider another option because she thinks you're so great. And that's why, you need to develop your character, right? Like, consuming the right kinds of books, hanging around the right kinds of people, just developing yourself as a person, your communication skills, to be your best self. And again, like, there's two ways you can look at that whole situation that I described, like the girl leaving someone for another guy. Like, technically, you can look at it simply and say, yes, I do have competition. Of course that makes sense. And we all pick the best option for us. And at the same time, the world is abundant. So if you keep leveling up, you'll easily find the best option for you, right? So I think both of these things can be true at once, but don't allow the idea of competition to make you feel scarce. That's the key to all this. Because the world is still abundant. I mean, if you're a guy watching this, there's literally so many women in the world. It's just up to you to be a high quality guy so that you can just become a magnet for the highest quality woman in your life. All right? Keep going, man. You got this.